Hey guys, welcome to your Harmonic Analysis for Jazz Standards video specifically designed for jazz guitarists that are intermediate. So let's dig into the agenda I created. So we will cover the following today, finishing by three main tips I have if you're just getting into harmonic analysis, understanding how the chords work from one another and how chord progressions are put together basically. So I have these tips and we will do a quick blue bossa analysis that I have on my screen here, just in a nutshell to give you some guidelines and how to proceed when you stumble upon another song that you're fresh in. So it's important that you have a process. So as a quick introduction, harmonic analysis could be simply defined as finding out the rules or the reasons why chords move from one to another, which is a topic that's very, very interesting to a lot of my students because it becomes much easier to do comping and improvising once I know what's going on, right? You want to be sure that it's not over intellectualized, but at the same time, we want to know, oh, it's in that key and this chord is the 6 and etc. And just prove that it works. I'm just going to navigate quickly here. I have thousands of students I have given private lessons to. We have these success stories. Now I think I'm screen capturing, so the video is loading slowly. All these guys that have had tremendous success, some gigs I played live with students, and also lots of testimonials and posts and proof of concept in this in that kind of coaching I do online. So that's a proof that it works. Now let's take a moment to define if this video is for you, all right? It is for you if you are able to play well the guitar, so you can probably play other styles like rock or blues, or you can play folk or classical. You may be able to play really well in other styles, but on the jazz end, you may still have some key pieces that are missing. So a key piece of the puzzle, meaning what's that minor 7 flat 5 chord has to do? Why do guys like Mark tell me about melodic minor versus harmonic minor, and what's the full form to all the things you are? And I wonder what this chord is doing there. If this is you, then stick around. This is exactly who I made this video for. Now, let's talk a bit about the problems of harmonic analysis. One of the main issues is that as rockers, you may start a song and be well aware that if you're doing an E major, then the song is most likely an E major. It's the case if you play with blues, you're going to hit a chord, right? And it's like, yeah, that's the one chord, one Roman numeral 1. This is the chord of the home key. This is the bass. This is the key of the song. And we can sort of analyze everything pertaining to that chord. When we get into jazz, lots of jazz tunes do not start on the one chord. I'll give you a quick example. One of my favorites, Just Friends, starts on the 4 chord. 4 major. All right. Stella by Starlight, fairly well known, starts on the sharp 4 and it's minor 7 flat 5. Let's pick another one quickly. All the Things You Are starts on the 6 chord of the key of the song, but it goes in 4 different keys. So one of the problems is that the previous ways of analyzing songs that you may pick up from pop or blues will stop working when you start to analyze jazz songs. So that's one of the main issues, is trying to fit a square peg in a round hole when it comes to harmonic analysis. So there are basic tools. It's not going to be rocket science, or as I like to say, it's not going to be rocket surgery to go over, say, a song like Blue Bossa and to start your own process. So let's dig into the solutions. All right, how do we solve for this? So we solve by looking at the bigger picture. We solve harmonic analysis by looking at 5, 10, 20 tunes and learning to play them well and hearing them well on the instrument as well. We solve for harmonic analysis by asking great questions. By the way, we have this great forum. It's called the Jazz Guitar Fellowship, and the fellowship is absolutely free for life. And there's thousands of members, first off, but also there's dozens of resources for free, absolutely, in the classroom, including standard essentials that are fully written. So I'll take Blue Bossa because it was released recently, full on with the video, the sheet music, and the sound slice. So if you're looking for anything and you want to do harmonic analysis, you're not sure, just head over to the community, ask the question. People will gladly answer, I'm sure. Right? So let's dig into some of the tips I designed for you for harmonic analysis. Right. Step number 0, always think broader. That's what I put on my screen. So here's what I mean. If I look at a song like Blue Bossa, or even better, let me pull out my iReel and scare you a little bit. If I pull out a song like Stella by Starlight, which is seemingly very innocent with a very simple melody, if I look at anything in an isolated fashion, so just this chord or just that chord, maybe things will not make as much sense. So it's important to always keep the bigger context in mind. And that's, I say it's not even a tip here, is step number 0, because this should inform the whole process for you to look at songs like this. You can say, well, yes, this is happening, but also let's contextualize. That's the biggie. And by doing this, I will say, thinking broader, it's never just about this. It's always about what came before and what came after that thing. And it's the same with language. I don't have a word right now in mind, but I'm pretty sure you can come up with a word that would make sense only in the context. Like if I use the verb to make, I can make sense of something, but I can also make in that create a song, and I can also make a beautiful meal, or I can also make a first impression. You see, we're still making, but it's not quite making. So the context really dictates. So that's really think broader. And I keep repeating that to my students, which is, hey, context. It's like a business. They say location, right? So for us is, what's the context? Where does it take us? All right. So that's a great little tip to get started. That's a mindset more so than anything. Let's dig into the first tip. All right, harmonic analysis. Tip number 1, begin with the end. So here's the thing that I mentioned. It's about context, but also since the problem with pop and blues songs and stuff is they will often start on the 1 and jazz songs don't start on the 1, let's look at the end of the song. So if I look at my Blue Bossa, which you may have been confronted with that from a real book, at some point go, well, it does start on C minor, but C minor is where it's ending before that turnaround. And it's a really good indication of what key this is. And starting with the end gives us information as far as where the song landed. So I'll pick up Stella by Starlight again, not to scare you away or anything, but see, the song is in B flat. I'm just telling you, if you grab a chart, grab a sheet, we'll get into that in the next step. But basically it's looking at the big picture and going, where does it land? Where does it come to a place of halt? Like it stopped somewhere. Where is that? And often it's found at the end, or at least at the end of sections of the song, right? So that's it. And I'll just bring up All the Things You Are because I love that song. I think, don't we all, right? All the things you are. It can be really misleading to look at everything and to go, well, this is the 5, this is the, yeah, it's important to do it, and we will, but look at where it lands. It lands in A flat. You will identify this first sequence eventually as pertaining to the key of A flat, but the end chord is also a very, very neat place to be. So that's it for our tip number 1, which is you begin with the end, and it gives you crucial information about the song, or even just a section of the song. It could be just an 8 bars or 16 bars, which takes place in that key. And where does it land? Where does it end is a biggie for jazz. Moving on, tip number 2. So this one is really important if you want to analyze, and you have to start with scores. So key signatures. I'll bring up Blue Bossa again. All right. And if you guys are not well versed in theory, it's not a problem. You can do a quick Google search on key signatures. And after you have nailed that table, which gives you the symbols representing the different keys, then you can hone in and go, all right, I'm here. I saw my Blue Bossa has 3 flats. Is that right? Yes, it has 3 flats. I don't have to know exactly which ones are flat and sharp, although that'd be important down the line. But at first it's like 3. Okay, 3. Nailed it. Awesome. And now I'm going to look at the song and go, well, it started with a C minor chord. It ended with a C minor chord. Is it E flat major or C minor? Most likely it's C minor. All right, so nailed it. If I look at that, I will have primordial, super important information about the song. And actually, let me pause this and get back to another chart. All right, I found Stella by Starlight here. So you see, this is the same one as we had in iReal. And the key signature is written as 2 flats. You see this? You have these scribbles, 2 flats. Let me go back to my table from Google. Where are we? What's 2 flats, guys? All right, this. Now look at the beginning of the song, right? Where are we? Beginning of the song, ending of the song. Beginning, oof, sort of messy. Ending of the song. Look, I have 2 full bars of B flat. So what do you think? Yeah, the song is in B flat major. All right. So by looking at the key signature, trying to get back to my document here, by looking at the key signature, I get important information about where the song takes place. it is sometimes happening that key signatures are changed midway. So we would say, well, now we're in a different key. For instance, if I'm taking back all the things you are, I'll say, well, I know it's an A flat. And if I did, I won't, but if I did pull out a chart like an old real book thing that was printed and copied with beer stains and stuff, I would find that, oh, we have 4 flats at the clef. What's 4 flats? Let's go back to key signature. 4 flats is our friend A flat minor, major F minor. People will debate, well, I think it's an F minor. Well, yeah, whatever. I think it's an A flat because it replicates the same motion in different keys and whatever, but that's for another time. The point is, I know it's an A flat. And let's continue on to different sections of the song. So I would say, well, this is all A flat until S hits the fan. I gotta say it. I can't say it on YouTube. And it gets messed up, and now we're in a different key. Okay, well, some charts will also reset their own key signature here, and they will post another key signature like halfway. Right here, they will sort of cancel the flats and sharps for the clef and add the new ones. So that helps, but this is seldom encountered. But if you do encounter it, you'll notice that's because the guy that wrote the chart will say, well, I know this is G major, so let me add key signature of G major right here in my chart to sort of cancel out the A flat key signature that I made throughout. So that will happen. So when you have extra key signature, by all means use them and just learn to decipher it. People say it's not rocket surgery, guys. Just find a sheet like this, print it out, and memorize the order of the keys. By the way, these keys happen in the order of the cycle of fifths, cycle of fourths, right? If you go up a fourth, you're going to add a flat. If you go up a fifth, you're going to add a sharp. And you keep adding consecutive flats and sharps like this. I can make another video. If you're interested, comment, and I can certainly make another video explaining this. Right, moving on. Contextualize strange chords. And this is my third tip. It's going to be my final tip. If you did that, if you think broader and not get stuck and hung up on any single chord that may feel like an exception, because the chord that you won't be able to explain just happens to be the hook. It happens to be the thing that makes the song, right? Don't get hung up on that, because you'll wind up trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. And if you begin with the end and look at the key signature, you'll encounter strange chords. You'll encounter strange chords that you can't do anything with. And I'll give you the rundown of this. Let's take Blue Bossa, because as promised, this is what we want to do next, right? So I look at the song, and I know it's in C minor. Check. It is starting on C minor. It is ending on C minor. There's 1 bar of turnaround. Although, I'll tell you right away, I don't like this chart. You see how it's misplaced? Like here, you get 1, 2, 3 bars to a system because they use this full bar as a pickup. It's odd. It looks ugly on the eyes. If you're like me, let's pull out the eye reel. It looks much better. Aha. Now it's all straight. All right. So C minor, or to F minor, which is 4, right? Which is not so surprising. It's a 4. But it's not capital 4. It's small 4 and it's small I. So Roman numbers, right? So it's reminiscent of blues. And then here we have what we call a 2-5 sequence in the key of C minor. So this is a 2-5-1 in C minor. And you'll notice that 2 and 5 in jazz language have a minor equivalent. So if it were just a straight up C major 2-5-1, it would be D minor 7, G7, C major. Now we have D minor 7, flat 5, or people call it the half diminish. It's not a fully diminished chord, it's a half diminished. Another video coming for that as well, because that's a world onto its own. And then we have a 5 that's altered, typically with a flat 9. And then finally we land on 1. So this is all a 2-5-1, or called a minor 2-5-1. So far, so good, right? So I don't have any strangeness. This is all the chords a blues would use in a jazz context. And then we mess it up. We go to that chord. So here's my tip. Contextualize the strange chords. What's that whole strange chord about? Can I say, well, C minor is also E flat major, so it went to E flat minor? I'm like, well, I think we're stretching the elastic band a bit too far. If I contextualize it, I can get a broader meaning to it, which is, of course, the mindset. And my step number 0 here is to say, well, where does it want to go? If I look at these 3 chords in a row, I discover that this is essentially a 2, a 5, a 2 Roman, again, so I could be a small cap, a 5, and a 1. In the new key of D flat, actually let me take green color, there. So the new key of D flat is what happens there. If I have a strange chord like this and I'm trying to go C minor and trying to make a relationship, I'll struggle because it's not related to C minor. And people say, well, how does it work? Now we come to the, the buck stops here, as they say. This is how the song was written. All right? This is the song. The song was written like that. It's in the key of C for a while, and then we turn green. Sorry, color can turn green when I clicked. We go to D flat, major, and then we get back to our C minor. So we said the song is in C minor with a bridge. You know the term bridge. The composer made a bridge in D flat and came back to C. That's it. You got the song. So we did our quick harmonic analysis. Essentially 1, 4, 2, 5, 1, and at the end 2, 5, 1 in C minor, and then 2, 5, 1 in D flat, and there you have it. But remember, that's my third tip. If I look at this chord and I call it flat 6 of the key of C, that's misery and pain and confusion for years because it does not function as a flat 6. What it does is function as a true 5 of D flat. So we temporarily moved to that other key, if that makes sense. All right, guys. So that's it for our quick blue bossa analysis, and that's it for our 3 tips. So let me just do a quick recap of this. Recap, you start harmonic analysis on your own. Do a lot of songs and use that process. Use a broader framework. Look at the whole thing and don't get hung up on a single chord that's sort of messing up with your mind. Make sure you look at the end of the song or the end of sections where there's a point of rest. Make sure you look at the key signatures. And please, if you encounter strange chord, try to contextualize it. Because if you overstretch the analysis like we did, the blue bossa was like, oh, we have an A flat. This is flat 6 of C. Yes, but flat 6s, if there's such a word, they don't function that way. They don't work that way. It's this one work how? It works to lead us back to the D flat major. And I know I've temporarily modulated to a different key, and it's just a bridge of the song. All right. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe this video. And if you're interested in learning how to play 5 songs within just 6 months, and I mean competently, playing chord melody, comping, and chord melody, I do have a coaching program. It's fantastic. I made a video to explain the step-by-step process that I used. It does include some harmonic analysis, but it's way more hands-on. So look at the first link in the description. And naturally, if you're interested in having more harmonic analysis, I have other videos on this channel about theory, which I will post here and here. So next up, you can look at more complicated songs like Stella by Starlight, or you can not step on the gas too much and just do a basic harmonic analysis on blues. I will see you in the next video. Make sure you leave a comment if you have any questions about this. Thanks.